What is a human being? Just flesh and bone? Or is there something within us, an inexplicable force that allows us to cling to life even in the darkest moments? In 1994, in the deserts of Morocco, an Italian police officer would find the answer to this question. What Mauro Prosperi faced wasn't just hunger, thirst, or heat. He was confronting the very limits of human existence. When he was forced to drink bat blood, when he drank his own urine, when he tried to take his own life, what he actually discovered was something far greater. He discovered the power of the human spirit. This story will ask you one question. What would you have done? 1994, April. In the southern deserts of Morocco, one of the world's most challenging races, the Marathon des Sables, is about to begin. Mauro Prosperi, a 39-year-old Italian police officer, has left his family behind to come to Morocco for this 250-kilometer desert marathon. Married with 3 children, Prosperi is also a former Olympic pentathlete who loves pushing his physical limits. The danger of the Marathon des Sables is evident from a question on the registration form. Where should we send your body when you die? When Prosperi's wife Cinzia sees this question, she becomes deeply worried. However, Mauro has been captivated by this extreme race that his friend Giovanni told him about and has prepared himself for this challenge. On that scorching day in April 1994, approximately 1,200 runners begin racing across the Saharan sands. Prosperi is confident years of training, his police experience, and Olympic background will give him an advantage. The first days proceed as planned. Prosperi continues on his journey with other competitors through the infinity of the desert. Runners must carry their own food. Only water is distributed daily. Prosperi's backpack is filled with essential survival supplies, canned food, energy bars, first aid materials, and a critically important signal flare. He doesn't yet know that this flare will be important enough to save his life. The fourth day, Prosperi is running through Erg Chebi, a 300-square-kilometer ocean of sand. A sudden weather change occurs. A terrifying sight appears on the horizon. A massive wall of sand begins to cover the sky. One of the Sahara's infamous sandstorms is approaching. The storm swallows Prosperi within seconds. Visibility drops to zero. As millions of tons of sand dance in the air, Prosperi struggles to breathe. Sand burns his eyes, fills his mouth and nose. The storm lasts for hours and Prosperi focuses only on survival. He buries his head in the sand, waiting for the storm to pass. When the storm passes and he emerges, the scene Prosperi faces is terrifying. There are no familiar landmarks. He cannot find the flags marking the race route. His compass doesn't work because the metal minerals in the desert disrupt the magnetic field. Worst of all, he fires his signal flare, but no one responds. Initially, Prosperi doesn't grasp the severity of the situation. As an experienced athlete, he thinks he'll run in the right direction and return to the race route. But every step takes him further astray. His signal flare is spent and no one comes looking for him. On the second day, real terror begins. His water bottle empties. Surviving in the desert without water is impossible. Prosperi remembers the basic rules of survival. Find shade, conserve energy, preserve water sources. But there is no shade, no water source around. In desperation, he makes a vital decision. He begins drinking his own urine. What initially seems disgusting becomes part of survival. He uses sugar packets from his breakfast to make the urine less harmful. On the third day, Prosperi miraculously discovers an abandoned Muslim shrine. This small structure is an oasis in the middle of the desert. It provides shade and houses bats. But the challenges Prosperi faces will only intensify here. Hunger is now unbearable. His canned food is finished. Desperation drives him to hunt the bats living in the shrine. When he catches his first bat, he experiences a mixture of revulsion and desperation. But survival instinct is stronger than everything else. He eats the bats raw and drinks their blood. This horrific form of sustenance slows the water loss from his body. Nights are cold, days scorchingly hot. Prosperi tries to benefit from the bat's warmth at night. The old carpets he finds in the shrine provide not only physical, but spiritual support. The sixth day, Prosperi has now lost hope. He begins to hallucinate. He imagines his family, his children. He feels death approaching. This is the darkest point of the story. In a desperate state of mind, Prosperi decides to take his own life. He tries to cut his wrists with his knife. But dehydration has dried his body so much that not even blood flows. His veins have dried up and collapsed. This failed suicide attempt leaves him even more desperate. But in this moment, he sees a photograph of his family. His wife Cynthia and his 3 children smile at him. This image awakens in him a renewed will to live. I must live for them, he thinks. On the 7th day, Prosperi leaves the shrine. Staying in one place now means death. He knows he must walk. His feet are swollen, his boots have shrunk. Every step is painful. Despite the sun, he continues walking. He has lost 25% of his body weight. His tongue is swollen, he cannot speak. His eyelids are heavy, the world appears blurry. But the will to live within him forces him to take step after step. During this walk, Prosperi's greatest support is his memories. He imagines his children's laughter, his wife's love, the warmth of his home in Italy. These memories give him strength. On the 8th day, Prosperi miraculously comes across a small oasis on the Algerian border. Tuareg tribal women living there find him. When they first see him, they are frightened. Prosperi now looks like a skeleton. The women give him water. The clean water he hasn't drunk for so long is like a blessing for Prosperi. But because his body is in shock, he must drink slowly. The Tuareg women, being experts in desert life, know how to help Prosperi. This discovery is not only physical, but also spiritual salvation. Prosperi has returned from the brink of death. The Tuareg tribe treats Prosperi and takes him to the nearest town. From there, Algerian soldiers take him to the hospital. The story of the Italian police officer who was lost in the desert for 9 days creates a huge sensation in the media. In the hospital, Prosperi's condition is critical. He has lost 18 kilograms, his liver and kidney functions are impaired. Doctors consider his survival in the desert for so long a miracle. When he reunites with his family, Cynthia and the children thought he had returned from death. This reunion is one of the most emotional moments in Prosperi's life. This experience fundamentally changes Mauro Prosperi. He learns how fragile life is, and at the same time, how powerful human will can be. His story becomes an inspiring survival epic worldwide. Surprisingly, Prosperi participates in the Marathon des Sables 6 more times and finishes 13th in 2001. Once you start something, you want to finish it, he says. His story becomes the subject of books and documentaries. Marathon des Sables organizers begin giving runners larger and more powerful signal flares. Prosperi's experience changes the race's safety protocols. Mauro Prosperi's story is proof that the power of the human spirit can transcend physical limitations. His survival alone in the Sahara Desert for 9 days is one of the most astonishing survival stories of modern times. This story teaches us this. Even in the darkest moments, the force that makes us cling to life, our loved ones, our hope, and our will to live, is stronger than everything else. Prosperi went to the edge of death, but returned. And this return inspires not only him, but everyone who hears his story. The desert tried to claim him, but Mauro Prosperi emerged stronger. This is the triumph of human will.